He's Chief Digital and Technology Officer at PetMeds, Umesh Shripad, and then he's going to be joined by a reporter for Axios Media and self-proclaimed pet lover, Carrie Flynn. Let's welcome them on now.
Hey everyone. Well, self-proclaimed pet lover. I think that's the first time I've been introduced that way, and it's the most accurate. So thank you so much for that lovely introduction. I'm so happy to chat with you today.
Oh, likewise.
And that was a good intro as well. Longtime customer of Contentstack and a very aggressive user in the fact that you are involved in so much of it. So let's kick off though to understand a little bit more about PetMeds' journey with technology. You were telling me before that PetMeds was essentially one of the first to market with this type of product, and yet you kind of hit a snooze button on being innovative with technology. Walk me through why that happened and what's changed. And I guess to throw it all out at you at once, what's been the hardest thing about adapting now recently to address kind of the issues with being so modern now with technology?
Just as in history, and thank you for the introduction and thanks for having me here. This is my second inning probably with Contentstack. So we were partners during my Bed Bath & Beyond days, and then now the second inning. And going back to the question, just to give a quick history of PetMeds, so we're a 30-year-old business, first ever pharmaceutical business or pet pharmaceutical business to offer digital commerce as a solution. Again, just from a history point of view, when a modernization was needed in the era, or we call it digital revolution era, which started from 2010 and sort of going pre-COVID times, there's a lot of investment that was made across the business, including retail, digital commerce, and pharmaceutical businesses. That's when we didn't make the necessary investment. Again, 20-year-old business at that point, you always have legacy technology and you need to evolve to the needs of the customers and the trend. So we come in now as a new administration, so it's been a year under the leadership of Sandra Campos, who's a massive pet lover. So she's got 12 pets, 8 of them are horses, dogs, cats, everything. She runs a real zoo in her farm. Amazing to learn about all the different pets as well. So any transformation always starts with people and then the right vision. So, as I said, a great leader coming in who's done these transformations and turnarounds with fashion vertical or from a home decor vertical or pet, we've got that people come in now, CEO, CTO, CDO, and COO and CFO, all of us are new from an administration perspective. We're all marching from a vision perspective. We've got a solid vision, which is pet health and well-being and truly the longevity for healthier pets. That's all we're here to do. Continuing on that, the next step for us is to define who we are as a brand to the customer. So, I'm sure if you go to petmeds.com, we've changed our brand identity. We've given a new modern look and feel, new design language to communicate better with the customers. Our brand tone has changed to really attract newer segments of customers, defining our segmentation strategy as well. But the biggest of all, you spoke about hurdles, the biggest of all is the transformation from within, not outside. So from within, what we are seeing is all of the companies are now technology companies who does retail, technology companies who does pharmaceutical. That transformation is what we are working on, both from educating our coworkers, educating ourselves with modern technologies, how we talk to customers. For example, I heard EDGE customers earlier on. So that's one of the reasons that I got very attracted, not just from Contentstack. Contentstack, I've worked with them in my previous life, but Lytics as well, because a traditional CDP is not going to cut the mustard at the moment. It's truly using the right data and driving the data-centric platform for attracting the customers or defining the right use cases. And that's where we're sort of in that journey, taking forward for the brand.
Thank you for answering all my questions at once. Though I wanted to go on a whole tangent about like how you own 12 pets, like what are all their names? Like,
Not me.
would love. No, yeah, you're the CEO, right? Like that was my major takeaway. No,
Yeah.
let's keep us on track. I'd love to hear. You talked about you guys deal with pet health, and if you're anything like me, again, self-proclaimed pet owner, I'm constantly stressed out about my dog and like what she's doing and if she's okay. But while I could Google that or I could go to ChatGPT and ask my questions, like. I don't think I trust that. I'm curious actually to get like a view of the audience. Like, what's your trust level with like online information about pets' health? Like, do we trust the internet? No one trusts. Oh, there's some interest, there's some trust in the level of ability to find your answers online. But again, you guys deal with so much like complex information, right? So how do you like make sure that PetMeds is a trustworthy source of information on something so complex?
Very good question. So. Just to stand out from that perspective, because we need to really cut through the noise and become a voice, especially when it comes to health and pharmaceutical, and to be true to our mission as well. As a first action that we took as an executive team is to put in a veterinarian advisory board, because our moat is pharmaceutical, our moat is medication to pets. Pets are our customers. How do we make sure that the consumers, who are the conduit for the customers, are being provided with the right information to make the right decision for their pets? So we have multiple veterinarians as part of our association board who helps us from, we're very proud to say that we are medical backed and vets trusted source from a pharmaceutical business perspective. So our veterinarians are very closely coupled with every single action that we take on a daily basis. So whether it is articles that we create from an education perspective, or shopping experiences that we create from a customer perspective, or package solutions that we offer to pets and other breeds. So everything is completely tested and proved from a veterinarian point of view.
I love that you say pets are your customers. Like, even though they're not the one paying, but at the same time, they're who you're serving.
We're serving them.
Well, I think, for me, as a pet owner, I feel like I can self-diagnose my pet. I was just telling you, I feel like she has anxiety because she pants in the car all the time. Yeah. But I don't know if that's true. So walk me through about like how you create content to help answer questions like that.
So when we work with our editorial team, who works in partnership with our veterinarians, so there are a few guardrails that we set because it's really the boundaries that we don't want to cross. And you and I were talking earlier about AI as well, and how AI sort of crosses the boundary when you're publishing content or recommendations, et cetera. So the first thing that we do is we educate customers on symptoms, but not on diagnosis. We're not there to tell customers how to diagnose their pet. For example, pets having digestive issues, like what are the symptoms to watch out for? What are the actions that your pet is doing? But those are the things that we can talk about, so educate, maybe first aid at that point, but not about diagnosis. Second, I always use this example that we're here to provide checklists for the customers, not assumptions. I'm a human parent as well as pet parent. So as a human parent, when they gave my daughter to me, there was a book that said, okay, here are the vaccinations that you need to get at what month, what time, and everything is well defined. I don't get that with pets. So it's a bit of a discovery that I'm doing on a daily basis. It's truly living in the caveman days. Like, what do I do in this scenario? So going through that experience, sort of putting on the technology hat, now I think those are the packaged information, those are the materials that we need to offer for customers as content, as education, et cetera, because that drives towards the longevity and wellness of a pet. And then third is always collaboration with professionals. We collaborate with vets on a regular basis to make sure that we're not crossing those boundaries.
So clarify to us, how does that go about when it comes to product discovery, right? So you're just talking about you're not like necessarily diagnosing the pet, right? But at the end of the day, with what you guys want to do, you want to like show what you could do with it, right? So again, how do you connect those two?
So product discovery can be two things here, right? One, is the traditional e-commerce business, which is all about utility. A customer comes in, there's two scenarios. Customer looks at it and goes, okay, I'm out of flea and tick medication. Spring is in the corner, or spring is already here, except Chicago. I need to start getting flea and tick medication. What do I need to do? So at that moment, we know exactly the intent of a customer. Customer walking in, it's all about flea and tick. Catalog opens up, filters get created for the customer. We give the customer the option to choose out of the catalog that we have what flea and tick medication that they want, connect them with the veterinarians, get it approved. That journey is completed. There's another journey, which is true discovery, is like educate me. What are the first aid things that I could do if my dog ate chocolate? Okay, here's what you could do at home, but at the end of the day, please talk to the veterinarian if the sizes and for any reason, talk to the veterinarian. And it's also about my pet's itching or shallow breathing. Like, what are the things that we need to do? So that is more on the education side, but there's always an action at the end of the education side as well. We look at it going, do we need to book an appointment for you as a service with a vet? It could be a telehealth, or it could be a vet in the area, or do you want insurance from a customer? Because affordability is a big scenario given the current macroeconomic conditions. So how can insurance help you from an affordability perspective?
So it's interesting, you were kind of say there's two ways of content discovery. There's the intent and there's just the education side of it. So with that, it seems to be you're not necessarily evaluating the quality of the content, if the content's working based off of a sale, right? So walk me through, what signals do you look at to understand, again, if the content that you're producing is working?
A lot of, as a data nerd, we have to look at both from performance perspective and also from continuous business growth. Data is very pivotal for us. So, any changes that we do, we can immediately see progress or trends, either in a positive direction or negative direction. So in this scenario, some of the things, number one, behavioral lift and shift. Behavioral lift can be constituted to the number of visits that we're seeing to a certain page or from external channels. It could be paid advertising, it could be organic channels, et cetera, conversion increase and overall LTV or lifetime value of a customer. So we can look at those trends as well. Second is around the voice of a customer. Customer these days have got multiple channels to express their opinion. So it could be social media or UGC or feedback channels or Trustpilot. So we're monitoring all these areas to see what the voice of a customer is based on the content or product that we have recommended for a customer. And third, again, going back to the metric side, which is product search and discoveries. Internal search queries. So as flea and tick increase, so now we're in spring season. So we're seeing a lot of flea and tick queries being generated from a customer perspective. So okay, that is working. So now is content associated to that is performing in the right way. So that's another input that we get. And same way from an SEO perspective as well. So for all these things, the test that we're running is using Lytics as our CDP provider, helping us out to not broadcast these messages and really share and channelize these messages to the right customers and the right use cases.
I'm curious to understand a little bit more about the role that first-party data plays with what you're talking about, and especially going back to the fact that we're talking about pets are your customers, not me, essentially.
Yeah, huge. We have close to about 7,500. We're always expanding on our assortment. So when a consumer comes in for the need of a customer, it's important for us to offer the pet-centric experiences. So when I say pet-centric, today we offer catalog across dogs, cats, and equine. So when a cat customer comes in, a cat customer is looking for supplements, a cat customer is looking for vaccinations or medication, from a overall channel, even the dog is the highest share of voice from either from a revenue and from a visit perspective, or also population. But the cat customer needs personal experience just from a cat perspective. So that data platform helps us to drive that pet-centric experiences. One of the things that we do better than most of the competitors is context-aware experiences. Avoid generic messages to the customer. When a customer comes in and say 20% discount or 15% discount, so those are generic messaging, but instead educate both internally and externally in saying, we know more about your pets, and that's where data helps me. So, you and I were talking about pets. We have lab, and you have a cute little dog. So when you come in, the customer agent, if you're calling in a call center, and the customer service agent should say, hey, it's your pet's birthday coming up in 5 days. Let me just put a supplement or treat for you while I'm shipping this medication. So all of a sudden, it elevates your experience with the brand. And same way, your pet, who's a puppy, now is 6 years old, who's sort of advancing now to a senior pet. Like, what are the education that you need to get? What are the vaccinations that you need to look at that point? So those communication really helps us to grow with the consumer along with their customer.
I love that. And in terms of that personalization you're talking about, it's personalized to that pet. It's the pet's birthday, not my birthday.
No.
And thank you again for calling my dog cute. I did show some photos while we're in the green room. I want to talk, you talked a little earlier about AI, but I would love to go a little bit deeper there. When we spoke earlier, you said AI is a co-pilot, right? So walk me through how you're using AI right now, I guess, in these advanced ways. And we just saw earlier Contentstack share, again, the new ways that AI is really empowering the experiences. So what's really happening behind the scenes when it comes to PetMeds?
Super. Great question. So I'll sort of remove my business hat and put on my CIO hat at the moment, right? Because AI can be, there are many organizations who are avoiding the adoption of AI, but being, both a mindset change, and as I said earlier, as an organization, we're going through a transformation to truly become technology company. So we are pro AI, but at the same time, we protect our privacy information from a customer perspective on the data side. We protect our financial records and our proprietary information. So we want our teams to start utilizing, because one of our mission is to make our team more hireable on a daily basis. So all these things are tools that we want our teams to have. So first use case, marketing, from a content creation or content curation or content presentation perspective, we're pro. And we want marketing to build brand guidelines, but at the same time use AI for a faster production and faster creation of content, especially from a personalization point of view. One of the things that I always talk about is, we started the personalization topic, like now AI is a buzzword. Personalization was a buzzword in the 2010s. But when we look at personalization, it was never one-to-one personalization. It's always a cluster personalization. You put a cohort and you message them together, or you personalize the experience. But now with the leverage and the utilization of AI as a tool, especially on the content side, we spoke about, we know more about your pet experience, that context-aware experience, that can be achieved now. So really helping our marketing team to achieve that personalization there. Second, customer service. These are basic use cases. Self-service, when customer calls in for where's my order, or when can I expect my order, can I get a refund, all those things you could definitely take care from an automation perspective rather than channeling through a customer service agent. We can use AI to support, and also support the agent to better communicate with the customer. The third and the biggest one that we're prototyping / experimenting with Lytics and team is around the customer experience. How do we elevate the experience? I'm old enough to say that I walked to the malls and I went to stores, and there was always a greeter. There was always a store person who comes to me and goes, what are you here for? I'm here to buy this or that. They always personalized. They took me to those aisles and say, this is where you're looking at. Is this what you want? So that made my journey easier. You don't have that today on digital side. So how can we think about the digital assistant and the digital concierge service?
I love all the examples you shared about AI's impact, but especially where you talked about how you're embracing it internally as a company because you want your employees to really excel, whether they're a part of you or not. That's such a fascinating way to think about it. So I guess we're somehow almost out of time. I want to hear a little bit more about and speak about the competitive landscape. I may have shared, speaking of malls, I might go to a mall and I might go to one of your competitors who perhaps has this physical retail space. So obviously I won't name who, but they're just saying that there's a lot of competitions in the pet care space. So what do you think will help PetMeds going forward to compete there?
We spoke about a couple of things as well before, where we are, veterinarian credibility, mission beyond merchandising, because we select our suppliers and people who do business with us through very strict rules around, do we match on the vision? Do we match on the mission statement? So all those are practices. And we're also working on partner ecosystem. So it's not just about selling supplies. It's not just about e-commerce and content, but it's also about driving the right value from a customer perspective, especially around telehealth or insurance, like really creating that 360 ecosystem. But the biggest of all, where we stand out, is our customer service. I'll give you one or two examples. Both are sort of similar. So one, about a few months ago, customer calls our call center, again, economic conditions, not able to fund prescriptions, lost job, pet health, medication was needed, so she was breaking the pills into 8 portions rather than 1 pill. So she was feeding the dog that 1/8 of a pill, but the conditions was worsening. So we get a call saying, what should I do and how can I support? We take the call, we have the refills from a customer perspective. We ask our customer service agent to rent a car, drive to customer's house, and deliver that pills to the customer to protect the life of a pet. And then the same story, another example is this was a customer from Washington, D.C. calls us. It's a similar scenario. We ask our teammate to hop on a flight that day to go and deliver that night. So we're not just about mission statement and saying that we care about pets' health. We do those actions to really enrich the lives of the pets.
That's incredible. That's truly above and beyond. So I want to end on, at Axios, we love to end on one fun thing. Yeah. I'm curious, you talked about how you guys collect so much data, right? We talked about the power of first-party data and just everything you guys can do. Is there one interesting, surprising stat that you've discovered given, again, your collection?
I'll give you 2 funny notes on that. How we all don't like the daylight savings. I don't like it. It sort of either adds or subtracts. Dogs are the same way. So we see a mini surge in calming chewables the day after daylight savings. It's super funny to actually see, oh my God, dogs don't like the daylight saving as well, because it's sort of an hour lost from their breakfast time or whatever it is. And then the second one is July 4th. We all celebrate it. It's our Independence Day. Not so much for the dogs. They're anxious. Those fireworks going up, it's not fun for them, not an Independence Day for them.
Well, that's one sad note versus one fun thing, but one fascinating thing. I really appreciate your time. It's so good to chat with you, and thank you all for listening. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.